When I left the theatre after watching this film, I was a little miffed by it. And pata nahi kyun, I did not expect the film to grow on me like this. There are a lot of reasons for me feeling these range of emotions. Let's discuss that. Hi, I'm Pratiksha Mishra and you're listening to my review of Sarfira. Sarfira is based on Air Deccan founder G.R. Gopinath's book Simply Fly, and since this is kind of a biopic, who is going to play his role but Akshay Kumar? This film stars Akshay Kumar in a role where you finally get to see him after a long time just kind of explore all the range that he has as an actor. उनकी जो पिछले कुछ फिल्में थी, in that it just felt like we were watching Akshay Kumar on the screen over and over again. और इस फिल्म में भी कहीं-कहीं कुछ scenes हैं जहाँ पे लगता है हमें कि we're watching just an extension of Akshay Kumar or his previous roles. But for the most part, we see a well-written, well-defined character who has also been acted out very, very well. पूरा जो इसका run time है, the film has given you one scene after the other and it becomes very obvious कि वो चाहते हैं कि आप एक emotion feel करो. And honestly, to the fullest extent, like there is no subtlety, there is no way of feeling subtle emotions, no restraint. You have to feel everything at 100%. And that is the reason that I was a little miffed by this film when I left the theatre. It is so dramatic, it is so melodramatic. There is no need for this amount of drama. The tension in the story is enough. What makes this film good, however, this is not a bad film, is strong story writing. The pacing also is actually pretty good. The cinematography is good. The editing is working hand in hand, except a few places where it feels a little abruptly cut. This is a good story. It is engaging. चाहे जितना भी कहीं-कहीं nonsensical लगे for the sake of dramatization, something about this film just makes you want to invest in it. It's not just the fact that it's an inspirational story. It's that there is a kind of conviction in this film for its own story that really works. And depending on how easily you cry, I cry very easily, a lot of those emotional moments will get you. Akshay Kumar plays Veer Mhatre, जिसके बारे में हम ये जानते हैं कि because of him and his protest, a train that didn't earlier stop at his village now does. So the village people love him a lot. They see him like this messiah. I like that the film kind of explores the intricacies of what it means to take on the powerful, to take on a bureaucrat, for example, to take on someone who has power and, more importantly, money and influence. On the other side is Radhika Madan playing the character of Rani. Rani का जो character है, this is a woman जिसने शायद बहुत बार जिंदगी में ये सुना होगा कि you're too much. But she's kind of like that post that goes, if I'm too much, go and find little. Usually in Hindi cinema हम देखते हैं कि ये character का weakness होता है और we see them kind of get stuck in that cool girl archetype. However, here it doesn't happen. This too much becomes her strength. If Veer Mhatre is someone who's angry and a lot of it is class rage and someone who flies off the handle very easily or just does impulsive things, she is someone who keeps their family grounded because she's practical but also at the same time has a lot of ambition and drive. वो जो एक contrast है इन दोनों characters के बीच में is very interesting to watch. Her dream is to start a bakery, aka Rani Bakery, and his dream is to start a low-cost airline so he can make air travel more accessible to the masses. She is someone who sets boundaries and expects people to follow them because they're very normal boundaries. It's refreshing that director Sudha Kongara takes this relationship and shows us something that we still rarely see in cinema, and that is a marriage with mutual respect. That being said, I'm kind of upset that we don't get to see a lot of her journey, of Rani's journey, of trying to make her dream come true, because even her story is pretty interesting and also the way Radhika Madan plays the character is very, very fun. My favorite parts of this role are actually much later in this film when we see कि stakes बहुत ही ज़्यादा बढ़ गए हैं, even on a personal level, and you can see that even though she has complete faith in this man's idea, there are still times when the stakes are visible in her hesitation. Sarfira is a Hindi remake of Surarai Potru from the same director starring Surya. Like Surya, this is a film that Akshay Kumar really needed because it gives you just a breath of fresh air when it comes to the actor also. In his performance, we needed grit, determination, but also a lot of self-reflection, and I like how the actor portrays that on screen. Most of the supporting cast also does a very good job, but the standouts have to be Saurabh Goyal and Seema Biswas. Seema Biswas, what an actor. Just every scene is so powerful. I understand, I get it कि इसमें भी melodrama बहुत है, but just the way that she delivers dialogues is so fascinating to watch on screen. Anyway, ये जो वीर का सपना है of starting a low-cost airline, the biggest adversary in his way is one Paresh Goswami, who's played by Paresh Rawal. He essentially has a monopoly on aviation in this film through his airline Jazz Airlines. और इस film का एक interesting hook बहुत ज़्यादा ये भी है कि this isn't just a film of an underdog taking on the system. This is a film that's actually at its heart focusing on the class divide. Because Goswami doesn't view view Veer's idea as a threat. He just doesn't want quote-unquote luxury to be available to the masses. और यही मेजर कॉन्वर्सेशन है इस फिल्म का सराउंडिंग क्लास डिवाइड, समथिंग दैट इवन फिल्म्स लाइक कल्कि 2898 AD kind of touched upon, where by taking resources or access away from the marginalized, the rich and powerful remain at their status quo. My only problem here is that it feels a little superficial because एक scene है जहाँ पे वीर का character कहता है कि I want to break the caste barrier, but the conversation surrounding this caste barrier remains to this dialogue and a little heavy exposition towards the end, whereas this conversation should have been in the fabric of the film. And this is a major problem that you will see throughout the film as well, क्योंकि जो antagonist है परेश गोस्वामी का is a very interesting character on paper, but it is just too one tone in the film. He wants to maintain this kind of barrier between him and the working class, but he only expresses these emotions by saying the same line in different ways. But the class divide isn't that easy. It's a system that works on the oppression of the marginalized, and that kind of nuance is missing from this film. Kyunki, and if I heard right, I think they mentioned that even Paresh Goswami's character came from a small village, and that is a very interesting kind of character to look at, a person who is now working hand in hand with the system that perhaps one day was harming him. I was thinking of this character in Joram, Phulo Karma, if I'm remembering right, and that's how you write a good antagonist, an antagonist with layers. Sarfira एक ऐसी film है जिसे देखने के बाद my opinion of it was a little lower than what it is now, because this is a film that needed to seep in to kind of understand it. And even though I liked the film's story pacing, I can't deny that in places it was just wham, 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 ek ke baad ek scene, random songs here and there, and it takes away from the experience. This is a film that you needed to sit with, and they should have allowed you to do that in the theatre itself. However, that being said, it's still an impressive movie, a movie that I might even watch again purely because of its strong storytelling, and that is why my rating for Sarfira is 3.5 stars out of 5.